back to another episode of MPTV. This time, again, you're stuck with me, Matt Plapp, your host and today's guest. So this topic really hit home the last couple weeks. It's something that I feel is so misunderstood and not subscribed to. And it's a simple saying: money follows attention. I want you to write that down. Money follows attention. It's not rocket science, but to be quite honest with you, the more conversations I have with you, small business owners, specifically restaurant owners, is you do not comprehend the massive value that comes with consistent attention. Now, there's no such thing as wrong attention, right attention. We're going to focus on right attention. So I told a story recently about, 2 months ago, about when me and my driving habits changed me visiting my favorite restaurant. I won't go crazy deep into it. You can look it up on YouTube. It's how my Lambo influenced and lost a restaurant a couple months in sales. At the end of the day, what it came down to was that I changed my driving habits because I was driving my fun car, and I wasn't driving up and down US 42 in Florence very often, which meant I wasn't driving by one of my favorite restaurants, Barleycorns. We didn't go for a few months. Why? Because when I leave here, like tonight, I'm shooting this on a Friday. I have my Infiniti SUV. I will drive from my office to my home, 2, 3, 4 miles away. When I drive on the way home, me and my wife will have a conversation. Where are we going for dinner? Most of the places we go for dinner are on that path because they have my attention. I'll look over and go, Barleycorns good? Yeah, okay, I'm already down here. I'll see you here in 10 minutes. Hey, how about the New Mexican place? Hey, about Buffalo Bob's off of Mount Zion? It always comes up to places that we drive past because what I have found, too many small businesses are not getting the attention they deserve, and they aren't controlling that attention. What I mean is Barleycorns can't control if Matt Plapp doesn't drive down 42. Barleycorns can control if Matt Plapp is consistently reached in an engaging manner on email, text, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat. It's easy. None of them cost money. Okay, the texting costs a little, not much, penny here and there. But at the end of the day, are you doing what it takes to get the attention needed for the money to follow? Let's dig into that a little deeper. So when I think about the term money follows attention, for me, I understand that the more times Matt Plapp is seen, heard, engaged with, I understand that that is going to mean more people who will become followers of mine, will join my email lists, will watch my videos, will at some point schedule an appointment with somebody from my team and possibly become a client. They might buy a book. They might come to a seminar I do. At the end of the day, the more attention I get, the more money is going to follow. So when you think about that in terms of, let's say, a restaurant, it's not rocket science to think about it. I want you to do this. There's 2 elements of this, and I can almost do if I did a screen here, and maybe David can do something fancy on the screen later on, I don't know, is that chart that shows the line going up. And if you look at the vertical axis, that is the number of people that you influence. And if you look at the bottom axis, the horizontal axis, that is the number of times you influence them. So I want you to think about this. Number 1, if you have 1,000 people that know, like, and trust, scratch that, know, love, and trust your restaurant, and they see your brand 10 times in the next 12 months, that is going to drive X number of visits. Let's just say for shits and giggles, it's 20%. So it drives 2 visits. So 1,000 people see the marketing 10 times. It's going to drive 2 visits for every person. So now you've got X number of visits. So when you look at that and say, okay, what if those same 1,000 people didn't see me 10 times? What if they saw me 100 times? Now I take the same formula, 20%, hell, take 5%. And 100 times, now you just got 5 visits versus 2 visits. And it's way less efficient. But you know what? It's not going to be less efficient because the more often they see you, if your food is solid, if your atmosphere is solid, if your service is solid, why wouldn't they come back? What I always like to tell people is the reason they wouldn't come back is you haven't invited them. And when I say you haven't invited them, I mean that you, not physically, hey, you're invited, meaning you haven't been in their mind enough. You want to live in their mind. You want them thinking about you. I'm reading a book right now. The author made a comment and he's like, you want your competitors waking up, wondering what you're going to do today marketing-wise. Why? Because if your competitor's thinking about it, they're not paying attention to their business, and that means you've also more than likely got the attention of a lot of customers. And so when you think about the ways to get attention, how can you garner attention for your restaurant? There are many. Well, let's go after one little element here. This is a different video topic. I talked about that 1,000 people. So you've got 1,000 people, you're getting their attention up 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times a year. What if that 1,000 people is 10,000? So you talk about money follows attention. There's 2 elements to that. How big is your audience and how often is your audience seeing you? There's a guy whose book you should buy. His name's Grant Cardone, and it's called The 10X. It's the 10X book is the name of it. It's talking about his theory of 10Xing everything. One thing that Grant Cardone did, and I never forget this because I've known about him 6 or 7 years. And I remember the first couple years where he got really active on social media. They were all, literally, there were YouTubers, there were bloggers, there were experts that I went to conferences that talked about, hey, by the way, you don't want to do what this Grant Cardone guy's doing. You guys have all seen him. You got Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone. There were people that were making a lot of waves. And the haters, the experts, and even myself, I didn't know it completely back then. They were talking about how he was going to ruin his social media following because he was doing live videos, 10, 15, 20 a day. He was on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. Hell, right now, I think he does 3 emails a day, if I remember correctly. And he was always out there. People kept saying his business, he's going to kill his social media following. People are going to quit following. They're going to unsubscribe. They're going to opt out. They're going to report spam. And there's an interview with another guy named Brad Lee. Brad's out in Vegas, has a company called VT, Lightspeed VT. It's an online training platform. And Brad, in an interview I saw recently, made a comment that he's friends with Grant because Grant uses Brad's training platform. He's like, I remember back in the days when that was happening. And I remember telling him the same exact thing. Well, guess what? It didn't happen. The haters came out, and when you get more haters, you get more attention because they're hating on your content, not you or your business or your food. They're hating on something you're doing. In Grant's case, it was putting out mass content. And then they tune in and go, man, this stuff's pretty good. I like this guy. Or they tune in and go, this guy's an idiot. I'm out. At the end of the day, money follows attention. I'm going to keep saying that because restaurants, which is who I focus on, which is what this podcast speaks a lot to. But if you're a gym owner, if you're an insurance salesman, if you're a real estate broker, whatever you are, replace the word restaurant and put yourself in that seat because you're not doing it. And let's talk about the ways to get attention. The most basic element of getting attention that we've all known about for years, I've been doing it since '99, is email marketing. It still works. And I'm not going to go down the path of how to fix your email because that's a whole other conversation. I'm just going to say you need to be collecting people's emails that are already doing business with you, that have done business with you in the past, and that need to do business with you. You need to find new, frequent, and lost customers and go deeper than that. You don't just need email. You need their cell phone number. You need their name. You need their gender. You need their visit frequency. You need a lot of information. But at the most basic element, email is the easiest one. And that's one of the tactics. So if you look at it from the front end, you know what? The first thing you need is my name and my email. Because the last thing anybody wants to be said is, hey, you. And I said this on my podcast a few weeks back when I was talking about the stats from americasbestrestaurants.com/stats. You don't want to be called, hey, you. People like to be talked to in how they should be addressed, their name. They should also like to be addressed specifically to their gender from a standpoint that there's certain colors, certain keywords, certain call to actions that will resonate with a male or female. So at the very basic, on the front end, when you think about money follows attention. How do I get attention? First thing is I need to know people's name and email. The next thing I need to know is their cell phone number. The next thing I need to know is how to reach them on social media. Next thing I need is, in a restaurant's case, most of them, is a birthday. So now you look at those normal elements. And then now you take it to a new level and you start looking at where are people at? Well, people are on this device. Unless you're a complete blind fool, you know this. You know that when you go into a restaurant and you look around, every one of them on their phone. I was at a restaurant in Phoenix the other day, and he was talking about Valentine's Day, and they had a huge Valentine's party, customer party, a lot of customers there. Looking at half the tables, they're on their damn phone. They're not even talking to their spouse or their girlfriend that they brought to Valentine's. It is what it is. People are on it all the damn time. And what's on this phone? Facebook is number 1. Instagram/YouTube is number 2 and 3. TikTok, LinkedIn, depending on who it is, 4 or 5. Snapchat, and within there you got Instagram Reels, you've got Instagram Stories, you got Facebook Stories, you've got Facebook Video, Instagram Post, you got YouTube Shorts. There are so many places that you can get attention. And when you find those places, and then you start thinking about your volume, it's not rocket science. It's not hard. It's not hard to take this phone out. I'm going to go do a video in a minute about a trench I did on the back of my property at our building. And it's going to be a funny one, so maybe look it up, because it wasn't the traditional way of making a trench to fix a water drainage issue that was causing problems in our basement. I will do that video on my phone. I will then give it to my team. In your case, if you don't have a team, to upload it to TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Instagram Stories, which will then also go to Facebook and Facebook Stories, Facebook Timeline. So that one video about this trench behind my building, which will showcase my personality, will show that we have a company headquarters, because a lot of businesses in our companies, in our industry, don't have offices. Matt was one of those 7-8 years ago. So it elevates us. And then it just kind of showcases, taking action and doing something fun. It'll be a quick 1-minute video that will literally go to Facebook Stories, Instagram Stories, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and then also LinkedIn Stories, because they have that 9 places. And we're also working on adding it. We could do Twitter, that'd be 10. We could go Snapchat, that'd be 11. One piece of content, multi-purposed. Think about that from a restaurant standpoint. What could you be talking about to get the attention you deserve? You could be highlighting your beer selection. You could be highlighting a hidden menu option. You could be highlighting a new menu option, your best menu option. You could be highlighting the server of the week. I had a restaurant recently. I say recently, this was actually a couple years ago, but they were talking about the Miller Time deal. It was one of their employees named, I think it was Tim Miller was his name. His last name was Miller, I know that. And they highlighted the meal that he liked to take home to his family. They're like, hey, this isn't on the menu. All of the elements are in the menu. That's Tim Miller. Tim, come say hi. Hey, what's going on? He's holding the bags. Tim, a couple times a week, takes this same meal home to his family. He's got 2 kids. He's got a spouse. Here's what he's taking home. And guess what? It's $29.99. Come in, ask for the Miller Time deal. That was great content. It tied in an employee. It related a message to their ideal customer, married with kids. It was fun. It was on video. And it was inadvertently selling. And so it wasn't some lame-ass post that you made that's all sales. The big game just happened. And I want you to kind of look. Now we're going to dig deeper into attention. Not crazy deep, but I want to go just a little level below it. The big game, the Super Bowl, just happened last week. Bengals lost, but you know what? They won 3 more games, and they had won in 30 years in the playoffs, so I'm happy for them. I personally gave up on the Bengals a long time ago. I'm glad there's a bunch of crazy fans here that got what they needed, which was 3 playoff wins. But I digress. Let's talk about the emails and texts and social media campaigns I saw from restaurants about the Super Bowl. 99.9%. And I'll just say this, 100%. Actually, there was one post by Better Blend in Florence, Kentucky that I saw about 3 days before the Super Bowl. That's the only business that I saw make a marketing campaign that wasn't about doing business with them on the Super Bowl. They did exactly what we do. We do it for the last 7-8 years. The week before the big game, we have an email and text campaign that go back and drive traffic to a Facebook or Instagram campaign that's telling people, hey, we want to know who you think's going to win the big game. Go to our Facebook post below, click the button, and tell us who you think's going to win. You're going to win a chance for a $25 gift card, $100 gift card, whatever it is. So what that does is that now talks to your customer base via email, text, and social media about something that's relevant in their life. You didn't ask them to buy food. You didn't ask them to order their Super Bowl food from you. You didn't ask them to book your Super Bowl party at your restaurant. You didn't do any of that. Every single Facebook post, email, and text that I saw, and it's hundreds, from restaurants, minus Better Blend in Florence, great job, Isaac, were all about ordering for the Super Bowl, catering deals for the Super Bowl, come watch the game here, come do your pickup order online. It was the same stuff. And the reason I'm telling you this is that you're losing attention because people have ignored your email because you suck at it, because you're doing what everybody else is doing. Red ocean, blue ocean, look it up. You can play in the red ocean where there's blood in the water because everybody's there killing each other, or you can play in the blue ocean where nobody is. That's the catchy social media campaigns. That's the catchy emails and texts that aren't tied to buying something. Because what happens when Matt Plapp, I've got a text series on my phone here called Dickie's Poor Texts. Let me see when the last one I got was. There we go, yesterday. And I have it going back for like 3 months. And it's literally sales text every day to every other day, like you wouldn't believe. 99% of consumers are opting out of that. And what did you just do? You took an effort at some point and got my attention, and you got my cell phone number, but then you screwed it up. You used it incorrectly. I opted out. So my goal is for you, restaurant owners, think about the term, write it down, put it on a piece of paper, staple it to your wall at your house, your home office, at your office at the restaurant. Money follows attention. Okay, break time. Restaurant owners, you're watching MPTV, so you're obviously interested in increasing your sales and profits. But what if I told you you could eliminate the hope and pray out of your marketing? You could spend money and actually see results. You know, most marketing starts with attention, like a billboard. The problem is that attention leads nowhere. That's why we created the ROI Engine Restaurant Program. We take attention and gain huge engagement, whether it's in-store or online. We help you build a database with deep customer information that's comprised of email, cell phone, and birthday. And then we drive them into the restaurant with trackable results. Yes, results you can actually see. If you're interested and want to have a conversation, check out restaurantmarketingthatworks.com. Worst case scenario, you get a lot of great ideas. Now back to the show. What can I do on the front end to get attention? What can I do in the middle to build an audience? What can I do to retain it? I say ABR, attract, build, retain. It's my next book coming out. Attract attention, build a database from that attention, retain those customers' attention, which will also retain their business. But I want you to think about this. How many people does it take to really influence your bottom line? I've done the numbers. It's 600. That if you as a restaurant owner want to make an extra $100,000 profit, you have to drive about 150 grand in incremental sales in the next 12 months. That nets down to about 100 if it's incremental, meaning new visits, new customers, bringing lost people back, getting people to buy desserts, people to buy appetizers, all that good stuff. That all comes with attention. Is you can break it down and say, okay, it's 150 grand in sales. Let's just do an easy one. 160 grand. It's an easy number to net down, but let's just do it this way. 600 customers. 600 customers at a $30 average check, It's $180,000 that they come back 6 times, I think is the math. Let me do my math here on my phone. I was thinking 160, I meant 180. Let's go. Here we go. 600 customers times 6 visits annually, new visits, 3,600 visits, times $30, 108. So let's go. That's why I get it wrong there. So let's go $40. That was the number I was working with. 3,600 visits. Yeah, there it is. So again, I'm not a math guy. I don't have the greatest memory. But here it is, 144,000. So if you net that 144,000 down times 0.7, it's $100,000 in sales. $100,000 from 600 people coming 6 more times a year. New visits, increased visits, lost people are coming back. So if you can take your marketing and find those 600 people, and don't get on their timeline on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Reels, YouTube Shorts, text and email 10 times, get on there 100. And the way you do that is a whole other video. It's called engaging content. And that'll be another podcast in the future.
Restaurant owners, did you know Matt has free online marketing courses that teach you how to successfully market your restaurant? Email support@mattplapp.com to get access to the courses and a free social media content calendar.
But money follows attention. If Barleycorns gets Matt Plapp's attention 10 times, it drives X amount of visits. If they get it 100 times, it drives X amount of visits. If they get it 1,000 times, it drives X amount of visits. The 2 main problems you have is you do not have enough of a following via email, text, and social, and you're not getting those people's attention enough. The more people you get, the more often you get them, that chart goes through the roof. That's what we're talking about today. That's what I want you to embrace. I'm going to do some future episodes on tactics for building a database, on tactics for retaining attention. And retaining attention is the key element. Because if you spend a lot of time and effort and getting attention on the front end to build a database and you suck at using the database, then you lose everything. Money follows attention. You need to do a better job of getting more attention more often from more people. That's all I got of this episode of MPTV. I'll see you next time.